Tesla laid off. They just blew up their entire supercharger team. It's just gone.
Yeah.
Specifically, it seems like Elon just did it one day.
Wait, they shut down the Superchargers?
No.
They laid off
basically
the entire supercharger team. Now, for those unfamiliar, Tesla superchargers, pretty important part of Tesla, right? For when we talk about electric cars, almost every time we talk about Tesla's advantage, we talk about the supercharger network, which is if you need to charge this car on a road trip somewhere, the only consistently reliable way to do that from our own experience for years has been the supercharger network, to the point where one by one over the past few months, basically every EV maker that ships cars to America is going to be switching their port or shipping adapters to the NACS port to use Tesla Supercharger Network because it's such a big selling point here. So all that being said, Tesla very suddenly laying off the entire supercharger team, which includes all of the permitting, all of the site maintenance, all of the future planning, and basically just shutting down growth of the supercharger network, like nipping it right on that day.
Over 500 people.
Yeah. Seems like a pretty bold move.
Yeah.
I think everyone sort of assumes that it's for cost cutting and, Tesla stock price is doing one thing and we want their, profits to do the other thing. And so, there's a lot going on and pretty crazy, ruthless business decisions get made by this guy all the time. So yeah, the supercharger team is the latest victim, completely gone. I don't know. How do we feel like this is going to go?
Yeah, it's kind of wild because, like you said, everyone is moving to NACS, and that layoff included Rebecca Tanushi, who was the senior director of EV charging and was the person that pretty much handled all of the deals convincing all of the other companies to switch to NACS.
Yeah.
So they kind of finished doing that, and then now the entire team is gone. And there were a bunch of employees that literally said they were breaking ground on new locations, and then they just got the news, and all of a sudden they just have to stop.
Yeah. So it seems like at some point we're going to feel the effects of it, and I think it will be, okay, so there was an Elon tweet about how, we're stopping growth and we're focusing on just maintenance and uptime.
Yeah,
So-
sorry.
I was just going to say, that. My initial thought on this, and I don't follow stock prices, I don't know anything about business, but when I first saw this, it felt like, we built this crazy supercharging system. Everybody loves it. It's the most reliable. Everybody's going to it now. Thanks for building it. Later, it's easier to maintain something that you built already instead of building
Except
it. But it
for
seems
the
like there's
fact-
more of it. Yeah.
Well,
but-
except for the fact that the amount of cars using it is about to 5x.
Yes. I'm not saying it's a good
Which is
decision, but my
bad.
first thought was it feels like they did it all. And I feel like we see that in tech a lot. It's thanks for building this awesome software or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good luck building something somewhere else.
It's
We
just
have what we need now.
The peace of mind knowing that you're always going to have a supercharger nearby is so important to ownership of an EV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. There's a lot of upcoming locations on the map where people are like, I can't wait for that one because then I can finally do this route. I can finally do this drive.
Right.
Now it looks like those aren't going to happen.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's a bummer for those.
Yeah, he tweeted, Tesla still plans to grow the supercharger network just at a slower pace for new locations and more focus on 100% uptime and expansion of existing locations. So I don't know if that means just adding more stalls to
what it
existing
sounds like.
locations.
Yeah.
The uptime is already pretty dang good. They've had very good uptime historically.
Yeah.
I could see focusing on uptime, like you said, if it's going to be so many more people, maybe there's higher opportunity of the uptime not being as good.
Yeah.
And focus on that. But even if that is the focus, firing 500 people
Yeah.
and slowing the growth of the network. Because no matter how good the network is, if we're talking about gas cars, the network looks like crap.
Yeah, that's the two sides of that coin.
Yeah.
It's when you compare the Tesla Supercharger network to gas cars, it seems like they have a lot of growth to do. But on the other side, when you compare the Supercharger network to everyone else no longer needing to build up their network because they all just signed on to do NACS, it's we won. No one else is going to come close to the Tesla Supercharger network. No need to build it up anymore.
Yeah.
It feels like when we're talking about even just Tesla or Rivian in-vehicle software, you're this is the best in-vehicle software of any car. And you're how's it to an iPad? It's it's terrible.
Yeah.
So there's still so much room for growth here.
Did you guys read that story a couple weeks ago about the I think it was an F-150 Lightning, no, it was a Rivian owner that charged his car at a supercharger. And it was like right after he got his adapter. And he had a Tesla owner like call the cops on him because he was like, it is illegal for you to do this. You cannot be doing this. And he's like, bro, no, they opened it up. And he's like, no, this is only for Tesla users.
Yeah. Little culty, little weird.
fun.
Okay.
Yeah. The problem is the signs still say Tesla charging only.
That's true.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I never noticed. I guess
All
I
the
have
signs at
noticed that.
Supercharger have a big T and it says Tesla Supercharger, supercharging only.
Which they obviously mean just because don't park here and take up a spot.
Right.
But previously it was only Teslas. That's very funny.
Yeah.
It's also
love
hilarious that person called the cops.
I
That's,
know.
like, the biggest overreaction ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you also see Rivian has decided to open up their Adventure network to all
good.
EVs?
All 5 of them?
Yeah, everyone.
Nice.
So, I mean, they don't have a ton of chargers, obviously, but they do plan on switching to and updating with NECS and allowing everyone to charge on their Adventure network as well.
Well, maybe half of these engineers will go to Rivian and start expanding the Rivian supercharger.
I wonder how much capital and how big of a head start Tesla's network has over a realistic competitor to like make a
I
difference.
feel like an insane amount.
Like even if you start building a secondary NACS network today, I guess you don't have to start. You could just be Electrify America and just start like switching them all to NACS and building a ton more. Could that realistically be the like standard of uptime someday? I don't know.
No.
If
Seems very
Probably
difficult.
not. Yeah.
despite the head start, if there were ever a time to want to try and chip away at that head start, it's when they fire 500 people who built that head start.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, get.
Subscribed.
What's yours look like?
I changed the David font.
Today.
Get subscribed today. Also, thanks for watching this clip.